What's up, ladies and gentlemen of the interweb? Today, we're talking about the updated Nintendo Cell figures. It has officially passed the PlayStation 4, and it's officially being deemed the savior of home console gaming. Which, we're not surprised because there was really outside of the Americas, there was no longer a market for home console gaming. Everyone was going handheld or on their phones for games. But the Nintendo Switch changed that. In less than 2 years, this thing changed all of that. In today's video, we're going to be talking about these sales figures, what this means for PlayStation, what it means for Nintendo, and we're going to be starting all the way back in 2015, going all the way into the future up to March 2019, and even technically 2022 and 2021, based on what experts are saying for PlayStation 4 versus Nintendo Switch worldwide, not just in Europe and Asia, because in the United States and the rest of the Americas, the PlayStation 4 is still winning by quite a lot. But will that stay? Is it going to go down? Is it going to go up? Let's find out in this video. The Nintendo Switch is now predicted to sell 150 million units by its 5-year mark. Since launch, the Nintendo Switch has sold 19.67 million units as of June 30th. These numbers just updated today. I don't know why they didn't just wait a couple of days to update it to July, but you know what? I don't work at Nintendo, so who am I to judge? The PS4 at this point in its lifetime didn't even hit 10 million units sold, and when these standings are updated, thanks to Octopath Traveler and other major games that has come to Switch in July, it's already assumed it has hit 20.7 million units sold. For those of you that didn't know this, outside the Americas, the PS4 never took off and was credited with killing home console gaming, because in Europe and Japan, still to today, the PlayStation Vita is king of PlayStation, and even the Japanese version of Wall Street is praising Nintendo for saving home console gaming in Japan. You see, when we look at reality, the PlayStation 4 has no good exclusives except the usuals that you expect, like God of War and Uncharted, which is actually, Uncharted 4 is actually considered the worst Uncharted in the series. I don't see how, because if you've been following this channel for like a year or so at least, you know I have played through that game like 50 times on this channel. But, it is, and there's nothing we can do about it. Then there's The Legend of Aloy Breath of the Wild, also known as Horizon Zero Dawn, which was reworked and remade just to compete with Nintendo. Like literally, PlayStation made them change it from their original vision to make it so they could compete with Breath of the Wild. But spoiler alert, it didn't work out the way they wanted it to. Then most recently, there's God of War and Detroit Become Human, which I haven't got to either of those yet because I'm trying to clear out my Xbox 360, Steam, and PlayStation 3 games before I start those, because my backlog is really starting to stress me out. But let's be real, we knew Nintendo was going to pull something to beat the PlayStation 4 way before the Switch even released. I mean, look at 2015. The biggest game that year was Mario Maker on the Wii U. The Wii U is like the closest thing to a deserted wasteland you can get in console form. That was the most talked about and the most viewed and most watched game of 2015, and it's still huge to this day. Then let's look at 2016. The most exciting game to come out the first half of the year was a remaster, and it was the remaster to The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which originally released on GameCube and Nintendo Wii. Then that summer, Pokemon Go blew up, so that holiday season, Pokemon Sun and Moon was the most bought and sought after new game, and the Nintendo 3DS was the most bought system of holiday 2016 because nothing that came from PlayStation or Xbox that year could compete with Nintendo. Now let's look at 2017. Breath of the Wild and Mario Odyssey was the only games anyone wanted last year, and they were the only games anybody was talking about last year that wasn't a port or, something like, just an American release, like Yakuza Kiwami. That was just an American release. Yakuza 0, that was a port and an American release. Those games have been out since 2016 and 15, so they don't really count. But anyways, the Switch was the most bought console on Black Friday last year, even though it was being sold at full price. And still, this year, worldwide, the Nintendo Switch is the most bought console. Even God of War couldn't stop Nintendo. I mean, in the USA, the PlayStation 4 outsold the Switch, but that's expected because we have a fetish for God of War, and it was assumed people would finally buy a PS4 with the release of that game, and not even including, the massive backlog of games the PlayStation 4 has, so pretty much everybody assumed God of War was going to be the tipping point for a lot of people. So that's why the PlayStation 4 sold well from the time, God of War released up until now, but it's starting to slow off. Last week there was only like 10,000 PlayStation 4 units sold and like 50,000 Nintendo Switches in the United States. Anyways, there's not another major highly anticipated game coming out until September with Spider-Man. But Spider-Man should have been delayed because it's not going to be able to compete with Red Dead Redemption 2, the new Mario Party, and the new Assassin's Creed. Spider-Man is going to be buried, and the special edition console pre-orders is not selling as good as they thought it would, and pre-orders for Spider-Man are extremely low. I mean, the game will sell at least 1 million units, so that's good, but still, units sold won't matter when it's outsold by Mario Party and the others. Pokemon comes out in November, and all the experts are saying that in November the Nintendo Switch will reach 31 million units sold. It took PlayStation almost 3 years to hit that number, and the Xbox did it back in March of this year, 2018 if you're watching in the future. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate comes out in December, and again, we already know that's 2018's game of the year. Nothing can compete with Smash Bros., but the experts are saying that game in the whole month of December with Christmas and Hanukkah, and just sales in general, will push the console over 35 million units. Then in March, when the Switch turns 2, it'll be around 45 million units sold, and by November 2021, which is the assumed release date for the PlayStation 5, it's estimated the PS4 will hit 115 million units sold, and the Nintendo Switch will be creeping up on 130 million. It's safe to say the Nintendo Switch is this decade's PlayStation 2. The online service starts in September, which will see us paying $20 a year. That's the price of a sandwich where I'm from, and we get 20 free games a month from the Nintendo Entertainment System at the beginning. Then after that, in any random order and any random number, we'll be getting games from NES, SNES, Nintendo 64, Game Boy Advance, and it's highly rumored the Nintendo GameCube. And you know, nothing's been talked about it, but we could even be getting Sega Game Gear, Sega Genesis games on there, since Sega and Nintendo does still have a partnership. The Nintendo Switch, hands down, is the most popular console this generation. But will Nintendo be able to keep it up when they move into the next generation, which assume that they will in 2022? Will these estimates stay true, or will they go up or down? Only time can tell what will happen to the Switch, but as of today, it's looking like nothing but Super Mario Sunshine and Rainbows for the Nintendo Switch. And with that being said, my name is CRUZANDO. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Try not to die, and I'll see you in the next video.